Hi, I'm Susan, and today I'd like to show you how to make my Shabby Chic hearts. They're really simple and really fun to make and very, very inexpensive. You can use napkins, tablecloths, sheets. I used old blouses I picked up at the thrift store. I just basically bought everything that was pink. So you could use a skirt, whatever you have. If you're looking to throw it away or get rid of it, if it's stained, rethink about it, because look at these beautiful hearts. You could make these for a shower and do them in blues. You could do them in whites for a wedding. Or if you're like me and just like pink, I love pink in my studio, you could do them in pink. So let's get started. So I'm starting off with a pile of blouses I bought at the thrift store, and I am using a basic pink palette. This is probably way more fabric than I will use, but I didn't know what colors I wanted and I had no idea. If you were doing a wedding or a shower, this would probably be more than ample. But for me, I was just doing some decoration, so I will have a lot of leftover fabric. Now, I did look for cottony fabrics because I want them to fray. So I want something like this when I cut it to have a ruffly edge so it'll give more of a feathery look. So I'm starting out with a regular paper heart. This is just a piece of scrap paper that I have folded in half and just cut around it in the shape of a heart so that I got the desired shape of a heart. Now you could do this any size you like because your finished piece is going to be about a ½ inch to an inch bigger. So just keep that in mind. Now this is a piece of foam core. I've just traced it on here, so I've got that heart shape. And foam core is basically poster board, foam, and then another piece of poster board, so it's pretty rigid. If you don't have foam core, I would recommend that you take like 3 pieces of corrugated cardboard and hot glue them together so that you got a nice sturdy base. Now all you need to do to cut this foam core out is you can just use a box cutter or a razor, and this one for some reason will not stay in this position, so I end up using a razor which does the same thing and just cut around the edges. So here I have one that's already done, and here's the label from the foam core. You just basically can take a piece of fabric. This is a piece of fabric from one of the blouses that I've purchased. It was a sleeve, and all I'm going to do is take a staple gun. You can use a regular stapler like a paper stapler, but I don't have one of those. I have a regular staple gun. Sorry about the noise. Well, I finished stapling all around the heart, but here in the center of the heart, it gets a little tricky. So I like to finish stapling here, and then I like to just cut into that middle piece and then add my staples, just because if you try to get to this little piece first, it will distort and it'll get really hard to get the other pieces. Now, after you've got, let me just give this a little nip in the middle here. It's not tight enough for me. There we go. That's nice and loose. Now, after you've got it stapled around, this will be the back. You want the back to look pretty as the front, because if you have a glass door like I do, or someplace where both sides will be seen, you want to make sure that both sides look nice. So I'm just taking my scissor point and drilling a hole, because the foam core is so soft, it doesn't take a whole lot to drill through it. Now, this is just some ribbon. You could use string. You could use anything you want to hang it from, it doesn't matter. And the length on this also doesn't matter, it depends how much you want to hang it. Now, if you just hung it like this, it won't stay because it's going to be heavy on this side, so it'll have a tendency to fall forward. I find it easier to just tie a knot over and under here so that it stays close to the card. And then I just like to tie a loop knot at the top so that you have something to hang it from. So these are all my fabric scraps from all those blouses that I've cut up. And let me find a ruler. Oh, here we go. And they're approximately 1.5 to 2 inches wide. They're just randomly cut. I didn't exactly measure these. It doesn't matter. There's something about the serendipitous way this goes that it'll look really pretty. Now this is a whole lot. Let me pull back and show you how much I have of all these little scraps. So this was quite a bit, and you will be amazed. I will use a lot of this. So when I pull closer up, I want you to see how I do this. I'm just using a pencil tip and a hot glue gun. And I'm just going to take my hot glue and put a little bit along a line there. And then I'm just going to take my pencil and wrap it with this fabric. Now, because this one is foam core, unlike the corrugated cardboard, you can just take the pencil and push it right in through the cardboard into the foam core and it will hold it. Now, it doesn't matter which side of the fabric you use, whether you use it inside out, outside, front side, you will see the colors either way. And if you wanted, you could do this all with white, all with blue, yellows. These would be so pretty for a baby shower, a wedding shower, even a shabby chic wedding. They would be really cute. You could do big ones, little ones. It's not just a Valentine type of look. And so I just work a little area at a time, and all I do is just squinch this up, and wherever I have the glue, I just push it in. And to add to it, let me get my glue stick. I'm just going to hold it up a little bit and just do a little section at a time, because the glue has a tendency to dry, well, really not dry, cool, actually, very quickly. So I just work around that little area. And I will continue to keep adding and adding until I finish this up and show you what we got. Now, I just wanted to show you, as I'm working on this, you can see where these pleats and things are coming up. I make sure I glue those down as I go. And I just like to go along the edge here and just add, I would say that's about a ½ an inch of glue at a time. So try not to put too much out at once, because it gets really fiddly when you try to get this fabric under here, because it wants to spread out and kind of push the other fabric into the glue. So you just kind of want to work a little bit at a time so that it doesn't get in your way. I find if you have too much glue, you're in a panic trying to get these onto the pencil and squish them in before the glue dries. So just leave yourself a little bit of glue at a time and make sure you glue down this fabric so that it's all becomes one. So I'm all done, and I've just fluffed it up a little just by using my fingers. You can see it's popping everywhere. But I do want to trim this out to get more definition to it. So I want to make sure I hold this string down. Let me show you the back. Hold it down so that you don't cut that. And I'm just going to trim into here. You see I have these little pieces that are kind of bigger and chunkier and fluffier. I want to first trim those out so that I don't have just those big pieces. I want them to look a lot more feathery and fluffy like up here. And then I'm just going to take my scissor and dig into this V here. I want this V to be more defined because it's kind of blobby looking compared to heartish looking. I really want to make sure I get that heart shape. And I don't mind that it's a little wild and ragged over here. I just want to make sure that it's still shaped like a heart, because it does go further out, and you'll find you have some of these chunks. And you'll know what I'm talking about when you're looking at it directly. When you're looking at it on the camera, you really don't see the chunks as much as when you're looking at it in real person. You can see them a lot more. And so just trim them back a little and just give it a little bit of a haircut. And you can see from this edge compared to this edge how I have a lot more definition. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Just be careful of this string, because he's going to fit in with the rest of the fabric and give you a hard time when you cut him. And the only thing I can suggest is gluing a brace on to hold him through, because you'll never get it through that hole again now that we've filled it with hot glue. So just try to be careful and not cut them. That's really the best solution. But just cut into these little chunks and then trim it out, and it'll give you much more fluff. Now what I love about this one is I added some of this floral fabric to it that had a lot of green in it, And it almost looks like a bouquet of flowers at a distance. So this could look so pretty on a door or a wall. Or you could use these for a wedding favor or wedding decorations, any kind of decoration, Sweet 16. There's just so much you could do with these, and they're so inexpensive to make. But if you look on Etsy, there's a lot of people that make these, and they are quite expensive. And all you did was clean out your closet. So don't throw your old clothes away. Think about it before you do. There's so many uses for all this old fabric that we keep getting rid of. And you could make something beautiful like these. So I hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for watching.